Hi, this is Shell of Shell's Creations. Today in this video I want to show you some fun things that we can do to tweak writing on our layouts to make it look more realistic. What I have here, I'm using Photoshop Elements 9 today, and what I have is a layout where I have put my marker Alpha on for my title. It says Hoop Dreams, and right here you can see that it goes over top of the edge. Change it so I have an arrow. It goes over top of the edge where the crack or the overlap between this paper and the background paper, and also the photo and this basketball paper here. You can see that it just kind of covers it. And in real life, if you were to draw with a marker on those lines, it would leave a little crack in between where the marker would not, kind of doesn't absorb in between unless you've got a really potent marker. And so what we're going to do is go in and erase that a little bit. And so I have flattened my letters, the Hoop Dreams, I flattened them all so that they're all on the same layer. The first one that I want to work on is this edge right here. And so what I need to do is select this piece of paper right here, and that's this one. Then select the inverse. Under Select, we can choose Inverse or Shift-Control-I. And then I want to turn on my eraser tool, and I need the size to be pretty small. I'm going to go with 4 pixels, an opacity of 100%, and then I'm going to zoom in real close so that I can see what I'm doing. Okay, let's try and see if we like this. Okay, click down, then hold the Shift key, and click down here. I'm going to use Command or Control H to hide the shape of it so that I can see it, and see if that's erased enough. And the one way you'll be able to tell is if you zoom out, you can see what you think. I think on that edge, because of the distance and the shadow that I've chosen, I'm going to go with a little bit bigger. So let's try 5 pixels. Again, you can't see what I've selected because I've chosen to hide the selection, so it's a little more obvious. That's Command or Control H to hide that. Let's click here again and scroll down and hold down Shift and click again. Okay, that I think is about the right amount, so let's continue on down. Again, clicking and holding down Shift and clicking on the bottom. Okay, and I'm going to hit Control D to deselect that so that you can see. Now it's just got a little bit of a crack in it right there where my marker kind of jumped and went over the line. Okay, the other place that will happen, or one of the other places that will happen, is right here, this basketball paper. There should be a crack along that edge. So let's select that basketball paper segment. Okay, the basketball print layer here, let's go ahead and select that layer. Now it's just outside of that we want to erase, so remember that we need to select the inverse. Now let's zoom in really close. Now it's hard to go along, unless you're really good at freehanding, it's hard to go along that line and make it consistent. And so we're just going to try and do a little bit of straight lines all the way along. And I want 4 pixels this time. Let's see how that works. Okay, I try to balance my cursor so that half of the circle's on the inside and half's on the outside. Then just move a little ways along the line holding down Shift, little bits at a time that way. It's not perfectly curved that way, but it will work well enough for the purposes we have here. Okay, again, clicking and holding down Shift as we move along. Okay, we continue working on that. Let's see. This works any place where you have something like a marker or your text printed, anything that goes over top of an overlapped papers on your layout. You can go in and just barely erase a tiny little line where they overlap, and then it looks much more natural. Okay, and we'll deselect that so that you can see. Now see how that looks naturally, like when you drew with the marker, your marker just kind of skipped over there, where that flap is there. And that's what you can do to just make anything that's written with a marker or text that's typed in, anything written like that, any doodles like that, that little extra thing that you can do can make it look much more realistic. I hope that this tip was helpful and the next time that you work on something like that. And again, that's using the Slam Dunk kit and the marker Alpha.